yes, it is the scrapes for a good reason. It is game number 5 as we tread on for the Beijing Derby going at maximum speed. It is RNG, JDG, and a climax that has to find its way somewhere. I don't know what this is, but this seems to be the epitome of everything here in the LPL. The quarterfinals coming to an absolute close with one final best of one. My name is Jake Sozipenko, joined by Mr. Clement Chu, and as I have come very close to the table and absolutely just encroaching upon its space, I have a question for you, Clement. Just lay this out on the line for me. Picture's gonna come up on the screen for you right now. He's MVP. Is this man the key to it all for JDG?
I think he is. I think Zoom was named the best top laner in 2018. Even over the Shy, though he missed a lot of games, to be fair. And he's been able to carry his team consistently. I still think he's one of the best Chinese top laners to fulfill more than just a tank role. He also goes into the Bruisers, and once again, he finds a victory on Swain, the Grand Noxian General being selected right here. And it does have to do with the teamfight ability and the power to just shut down AD carries from the backline. If Zoom walks forward, Uzi cannot walk past him at all. He's unkillable. Like, you have to be so late into the build as an AD carry to really take down Zoom with his sustain and his amount of disruption that he can provide with the Zhonya's on there, with the Demonic Ascension on there. See there, Trinley, Uzi. Just
as we've called him through this series, yeah, he's got 2 for the ears, 1 for the nose, and that's just how it goes for RNG. It's been cleanup duty for them a lot of the time here in this series. Game 5, I want to see the peak of RNG. I think it's very fair for me to say that this hasn't been RNG's best series, whether some of the drafting has been questionable, but mainly some of the play as well has not been very RNG-esque.
A lot of times when RNG comes to playoffs, they always have those specific flex picks that they like to use. They had the Karma, they had the Aatrox when it was coming down to Rift Rivals and really being a game decider. But this time around, the only thing that they seem to have prepared is actually just a Hecker in top lane. Yep. I don't think that's enough to show for. I have JD Gaming in the better position in this matchup so far. I think Coach Home has done a wonderful job to position his team for the mid-late game type of team fights. The Swain is indomitable at that phase, while RNG has cornered themselves into a later game situation. They have to change, they have to adapt, or they will be eliminated.
Clement, most of all, they have to rise. That's what this is about for RNG. You can hear in the back, the Chinese side is like, yeah, that's what this is about. 50 KDA on Swain, I'm assuming, Clement. Is that what this is? Is that what that bloody bonkers stat is for Zoom?
Yes, that is 50 KDA on the 3 games he's played on Swain. There's one man you never give Swain to, and that's Zoom.
There's 2 men you never give a bird to in this composition. One is LvMao, the other is Zoom. Whether it is the Fiddlesticks, whether it is the Swain, both top and support here for JDG seem to be the pillars of this team. Can you imagine it now? Can you imagine Uzi looking like that?
Uzi needs to be fed like that to win.
Second of all, can you imagine JDG creating the upset, knocking RNG out in their first round of playoffs technically, in the quarterfinals, and Imp doing it again for the first time in 4 years?
They are the lowest seed coming in. They would prove that their victory against WE was not a fluke. It wasn't a daydream. They're actually making it a reality. And honestly, no one thought JD Gaming would actually improve this split. They lost 2 members, Clid going over to SKT, and then you lose their AD carry, top KDA AD carry, Loken, over to TOP. Everyone had the projection for this team going downwards, but Coach Home proves different. They have managed to keep the team together. They have put all the pieces here. Imp is playing out of his mind. The best series so far, the best performances we've seen the entire split long.
What we do know, though, is that was Imp's worst game of the series, that last game. That's a weakness for Uzi to expose. That's a weakness to show Uzi that he is better. Running into game 5, the tempo's changed, the momentum's changed, the feeling in the crowd, it's completely silent. There's not a piece of noise to be shown. Now, rather heard. Let's get into game 5.
There's just so much pressure across the board. RNG have a legacy that they have to defend. They had unfinished business after Worlds in 2018, and if they drop here, I think a lot of fans will actually ditch them. They're very finicky creatures here in the LPL, so this draft has to be tremendous. I want to see Xiaohu make a stamp on the game, and they are starting off with at least something that he can deal damage with.
The Syndra as the first pick is very curious, because now for JDG, remember what they have as a response, whether it be the bottom lane in Imp's Karsa, or whether they want to go for the Vayne straight off the bat. JDG, couple options available, and it looks like it'll be the stock standard here in Game 5.
I think the best bet RNG have is to go for strong lanes across the board. Remember, Uzi is still the most lane-dominant AD carry the world has ever seen.
Yep.
You don't always have to put him on a hyper carry. Take some of that burden off of his shoulders and spread it across the team. Now, this is looking scary for JD Gaming.
That's a big pick for Yagao.
You almost forgot that one existed, but here it comes. Yagao Zoe. He only lost one game throughout this entire split on the champion, hovering over 83% win rate, and is finally out. No one ever dares give Zoe was banned out completely.
However, we know how Syndra can play into the Zoe and how predictable she is with the portal jump. There is potential to outplay for someone like Xiaohu, and I'm not talking about the R button outplay, of course, but Uzi for game number 5. It makes sense it comes down to this. It's his Vayne in this game.
I really think you need to take away one of the Lee Sin picks right here. If JD Gaming get that combination, it's so damn deadly. They could snowball from mid and jungle with a lot of carry picks right here. Rek'Sai is still open as well. Lee Sin being selected. I feel like RNG needed to take that away on the third pick. If you give Flawless and Yagao their best champions in a game 5, you know they're going to perform on it.
That's right. You took away the Jarvan. You had the courtesy to get rid of one of the stronger junglers, which we have not seen in this series. We return to a Lee Sin. Clement, you're so darn right on that point. Now I fear for RNG. Now I fear that the bans are going to come through, start targeting Karsa. The Rek'Sai is available, but does it come to that point? Well, JDG, you need to ban something. Hello? They're going,
what? They didn't ban?
I feel like that's either a mistake. Do we get a remake off that?
I don't
That's a game 5, no ban. You kind of need that.
That's kind of like a game 5 no item from Rookie. Maybe it's their secret sauce. Maybe it's their way of displaying confidence.
Like, did we really just do that? Okay. They don't look phased whatsoever. It is going to be the Silas.
Okay.
Right, hang on, it's a filler. It's not really Silas, by the way. Silas banned twice.
Is it a filler? Oh, yeah, it is a filler. That's.
I think it's just a filler because they didn't ban anything. It's like, we don't.
Maybe there's a display error right here. We'll follow up with you on that. If that slot is filled out, I'm pretty sure they banned something. We're just not exactly sure what champion it is.
We're not going to play the guessing game on that note as well. There's a lot of champions that I could guess.
I'm guessing they banned Olaf. That's my guess.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think they banned Olaf.
I'd be curious because there's already been a Rek'Sai ban. Olaf is Karsa's next best champion, or rather one of his best. JDG not hovering around the jungle though. They've already secured theirs. They're looking towards the top side for Zoom or the support. Gragas to come through. Most likely going to be down there on LvMao.
Yep, it is going to be the support Gragas. Now, we've seen this combination quite a few times. What you can do with it is that you put instant plasma stacks on, and that does give a lot of leeway for the Kayle to dish out damage. Also, the stun makes it a lot easier to combo up. So we're going to see a lot of roams coming out from this Gragas, especially toward the mid lane.
Is Zatai really going to finish game number 5 with the Let Me On? It seems like it. He's played all 5 games of this series. There have been no substitutions on either side, but we return to what game 1 started with.
So RNG still not having the strongest early game imaginable. They do have counters in the mid and bot, but this is not a lot of tempo being shown.
Okay.
Taliyah can do a lot. Great burst damage on that champion, but doesn't always win out the 1v1 trade versus Lee Sin. JD Gaming definitely still have the edge in the mid jungle.
But the real question is, do you set yourself up for the Swain once again, or do we have what has been left open and has been banned by JDG 4 out of 5 times in each and every draft apart from now?
What?
No, you play the Kayle apparently, and that just spices things up.
I think that's a smart move. So I want to break down why they picked this right here. They're thinking about having a front line for Karsa, for Kayle to push forward with, but they're saying, wait a minute, we've already selected Gragas. We're not going to have that tanky over front. How do we keep people alive? How about the Divine Judgment coming in from Kayle to keep players like Yagao and Imp in the fight? This is really interesting. He's going to have a free laning phase against the likes of Ornn, but there's also going to be a big target on his back. He's pulling a lot of resources from the bot lane toward the towards the top side for RNG. Is RNG going to divert the attention given to Uzi and send it to the top lane? If they don't, the Kayle could very well run away with the game. Really could.
We've seen Kales, however, get to the late game and not be able to have an influence, but this is what you see in a composition like this, is the fact that Kayle will have free roam if there is an opportunity. Running into the Ornn, the Klepto being a big response here usually when you have safe matchups. And for JDG, again, home needs to be really just kind of praised at some point. That the drafts here seem to be one step ahead of RNG. This could be cataclysmic in Game 5.
Both of these teams have selected a lot of their main champions. We see Vayne for Uzi, always a legend maker, and Syndra for Xiaohu. On the other side, Flawless on Lee Sin, always a treat. 7-0 in the regular split of 2018 spring, and then Zoe's Yagao. They're bringing out their absolute best champions on both sides, and this is going to be the finals draft in the series.
This is essentially our international brothers weighing in on this situation. Clement, we're up to game number 5. And remember Mr. Caps, the prophet, to predict JD to win it all, where we're starting off what could potentially be the best stream of your life. Ahead of his time, people will say. But for Double Lift, RNG to go through and win it all. Both of their predictions on the line, both NA and EU going head-to-head somehow with a Chinese quarter-final. And RNG and JDG, it begins. We've queued the silver scrapes, we've set things up. And RNG's life hangs on the line by JDG ready to upset it all.
We're seeing an interesting vertical jungle setup here from RNG. Karsa this time around is going to focus down much more heavily on the Kayle, just trying to see if JD Gaming start their buff leash at the top side.
You'll notice I didn't give a absolute, I can't swear. What else? Cheers, chance, there's no time for it at the moment. This game number 5, we've got to get into the midst of it and understand how this exactly is going to happen. We've got a double electrocute there to be noted, but this is, again, not what we're not going to talk about because JDG are planning the invade, but are going to be spotted out.
Yeah, and the big question here is, can they actually force Karsa off of the red buff? Zatai's even coming in, so they have the numbers advantage.
Big commitment here, and JDG do not know he's down here.
Flawless still sticking around, but he doesn't spot the Ornn just yet.
Ooh. If this turns into a 3v3 brawl or maybe 4v2, hang on, Claw's going to be invaded by Xiaohu as well. But Zatai spent all that time to come down to this lane. It means there's a free shove there from Zoom. It means that Kayle gets the first hit off and Zatai sacrifices a full wave.
Yeah, this is going to slow Flawless down quite a bit, so he's not going to have much advantages in the 1v1 matchup against Karsa. However, in the top lane, full free wave coming in from Zoom. In the bot side, JD Gaming also arrived on the scene a little bit earlier. So it's a bit of an even trade, but it just means that we should not expect Flawless to really be searching for Karsa.
Level 2 Zoe, it doesn't matter. It's level 2, it's level 11. It's 1 item, 2 item, no items. Zoe is Zoe. And Xiaohu at the back end of that trade as the flash comes through. Uzi flashed on, Imp taking him out, looking for the last hit of the second skin. They have to burn a couple of summoners to do so. But even JDG getting Uzi out of lane, they lose the summoner trade.
That was a huge win by RNG. They're able to stay safe in this lane by a very long margin. And when Taliyah comes in with that flip, they could target both LvMao and Imp for the kill.
But is it going to be worth it? I mean, you say huge win, but Uzi has to back away. Imp gets the shove in, another wave's crashing. I say JDG, this lane is now theirs.
Well, we should put it this way. If RNG get a gank into Equalize, then of course they win out on the matchup. But if not, then JD Gaming are going to walk away with the CS lead right here. But quite fortunate for Ming, is able to hold the wave.
We've seen this so many times in the series already where Uzi's had this exact same impact. Flawless, and LvMao now coming in behind the brush. Uzi, level 1, here comes the barrel. He tumbles away, heals, nowhere to go. Ming to save the day! Best support in the league, I think so. They turn onto LvMao. The turret starts hitting it. Imp now trying to find Uzi, tumbles away again. Ming saves his life, but Uzi gets first blood. It's Imp.
Zatai doesn't find it.
Zatai doesn't get it as well. They get a double. Imp has to run for his life. Zatai, as Flawless gets scattered away. Seismic shove. Messy early game. JDG's dive still goes off successfully.
And Uzi only hits level 2 off of that single play. Oh my god, they're targeting him so hard. The level 2 play, even though Ming was there to block out on the damage coming in, he couldn't save Uzi's life at that point. He had to burn the flash early, was cornered in the fight. And let's just watch how this happens. LvMao gets the slow early on. Uzi burns the heal. And oh wow, that was a triple knockup from Ming to make sure that Uzi could survive for just a little bit longer. But at the end, Uzi actually steps up and takes way too much damage there. You have to question if that was the right play from Uzi with the teleport coming down. And watch this play from LvMao. He actually gets a body slam to stop the double knockup from Zatai. Did save an extra life on JD Gaming's part, and they do walk away with the complete shutdown of Uzi and laning phase.
I was very curious as to how that interaction worked from Zatai into the Gragas, and didn't hear the big fat body slam, so LvMao coming up massively as well here for the supports.
The Ornn does have Unstoppable, but it is on the Bellows Breath and not on the Searing Charge, so you can outplay that interaction.
Karsa down here, however, they find the Sonic Wave onto Uzi. Karsa being spotted. Here comes the seismic shove. Flawless at half health, but set back by LvMao as well. The bottom lane continues to erupt.
2-0-0 on Imp to start the game out. He's already 20 CS above. This is the worst laning phase we've ever seen RNG play.
Yeah, that's right. In this series, especially, Uzi has never been behind this far. Karsa is moving in onto Flawless again. Seismic shove to predict, but Flawless is over the wall with Sonic Wave, or rather the safeguard. Karsa still hanging around.
And just think how much attention Zatai had to spend towards the bot lane. He's already used his teleport.
He's still here.
He's not spotted.
Seismic shove still available.
There we go.
Pulverize onto him. They don't expect the Spanish Inquisition for a third time. As LvMao gets flashed on, JDG come behind, and that is a third kill for Karsa.
Oh my god, Taliyah with 3 kills to start the game off is absolutely oppressive. Her solo potential, she could literally just take down Zoom in one rotation there. You always have to assume Karsa is in the bot lane. If Uzi's falling in behind, he's not going to leave any other place untouched. He's going to stay here and make sure that Mr. Uzi gets his day.
The fans are on edge. One simple move from Karsa brings RNG back into this early game. And simply stated, the Taliyah is almost unstoppable at this point as well. Flawless for the first time in his early game is being outmatched completely here on this late set.
Just taking a look at the mid lane, I don't care what the counter matchups are. Yagao always wins his lane on Zoe. It's actually quite nuts. We've seen so many mid laners throw the LeBlanc and Syndra hit his way, and he still wins all this matchup.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't seem to matter what he plays. And this is the danger of the roaming LvMao here. We already see him leaving lane. Xiaohu is a prime target.
Oh, the ward comes through, but the body slam hits first, and now for 3 versus 1. Xiaohu finds the scatter of the week, but if they have overextended it, if comes in again, it's big a seismic shove. Taliyah is so far ahead.
And that was just so well played by all members on RNG. Xiaohu able to get away from the slow with the cleanse, does walk back, saves his life, and LvMao's roam is all for nothing.
All right, Karsa now with the lead. Let's see how he influences the other lanes, because Xiaohu picked up that kill. That's perfect. In the lane, suddenly a big threat with blasting wand after that first back. Yagao on Zoe, no mana to continue pushing up the wave. However, he will deny a couple of creeps, but part of it should be that cannon wave anyway. So, good start here for RNG to deny, as Karsa level 6 and now back in the bottom lane.
He's very over leveled at this point. Look at Flawless, only level 5. So if JD Gaming ever push out, he has a very easy wall into the backside.
You might find it now. LvMao and him, level 4 and level 5 respectively. The Weaver's Wall is late. They bop them out. Karsa quick on the trigger finger.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Could have waited for LvMao to poke his head out a little bit more. Good intention on JD
They're
Gaming.
looking for LvMao to clear out this control ward. While blue buff gets stolen away, this will get given over to Xiaohu. This is not going to work, or maybe it is. Yep, Karsa's so far ahead, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely oppressive on the bottom side. And we've seen this exact same play when BLG were playing against RNG. It was down behind 2 kills in the bottom side, but Karsa just hard camped the lane to make sure Uzi was ahead.
But as you said in Champions Select especially, that as the tie in this top lane on the Ornn is once again going to fall behind, and there's no pressure applied to the top side. Still, the focus is down here. Karsa starts clearing the upper side of his jungle while Flawless is expecting the response to be there.
Karsa might be good, but he can't be in 2 places at once. That's the game plan from JD Gaming. We just stretch things so slim that in the late game, there's going to be one thing that goes wrong for you, and Kayle takes over the game. She's currently at 55% win rate in solo queue. One of the most busted champions we've seen in a while. Yeah,
has a slow laning phase, as we know, but 20 CS up, a very good start here against the Ornn as Zatai. To be fair, though, Zatai sacrificed a lot to help that bottom lane and get them ahead. And Uzi, you know, he's still 20 CS behind himself, so it's not like it's been super successful. Instead, the rewards have gone over to Karsa, and you still need to see that Taliyah make it into that bottom lane once again, at the very least. Because Uzi, still behind, still doesn't have a kill to his name, and Imp has a BF sword.
Looking at this, JD Gaming are trying to equalize the bottom side. Have a lot of members right there. Sleepy Trouble Bubble nearly lands.
Ming just pacing around for vision while 4 members try to commit to the bottom side. Karsa is roaming around, windsurfing to the rocks, and will be trying to spot out for vision himself. Flawless is coming in, still over-leveled as Karsa.
The fight is really tensing up here. Mountain Drake, both sides want this.
It's okay for Ming to blind check. He gets kicked back, but he gets Karsa on the way back. Sonic Wave not going to be followed up. Karsa getting kicked out means that there's no follow-up whatsoever. Ulti for the disengage.
Yeah, but they do have to give up position on that. There's not enough damage or lockdown there. Even though Ming does not have his ultimate, JD Gaming don't want to overextend there. Syndra does have the inner track in the mid side.
Right, Zatai setting up solo in this top lane while the rest of the map is confronting each other. I love that the Kayle is just getting time to herself.
This is really fun by LvMao because he's going to tick 6 outside of vision. However, Ming does spot him out right there.
Well, Ming hit level 6 himself, going to clear the control ward. Vision's still a priority, and Karsa just going full pace. Runic Echo's already picked up by this jungler, and the Sorcerer's Shoes. This is going to enable the first dragon, which is a mountain, as you see. Let's roll the dice once again. Force going towards the top side, or maybe just to start off the Rift Herald at the 11-minute mark. You can see this is a very fair response, and the Infernal's coming up next.
I would call it a win for JD Gaming, actually, if they do manage to take down the Herald and undisrupted. No, Herald is a lot more guaranteed gold on your way, and they could actually use it to push down the bot side. I actually don't think they want to push down the top. It's fine to let Kayle just farm up here.
Zatai could disrupt this, though. Yeah, just out you go. Rift Herald isn't reset.
Flawless needs to go back in, but it's out of range.
As Zatai's just going to pull it out. This is perfect here for RNG. Nicely done. Yes! I'll smite you away, and now back to 1100 HP.
I don't think JD Gaming want to risk it. No mana on Yagao anymore, and Taliyah's already heading towards the top side, even bringing along Ming.
Yeah. Pretty successful start here for RNG, I'll say, despite everything. A small gold lead, and Karsa's come up now as well. If Flawless gets hit by the size of the shove here, stands no chance. So there's no point risking it with Karsa at the moment. Still the level lead. Now for the Rift Herald lead, the Dragon lead, the gold lead. Scuttle's going to be theirs in the top side. Vision is theirs in the top side. Zatai making sure that there's nothing that's going to happen to him with the Kayle that's so volatile in this lane.
JD Gaming, this is a slow start for their mid and jungle. They did invest a lot into the bot side, but not much to come out of it just yet. They will abuse the Storm Razors just in that bottom lane, getting even more damage, getting the slowdown if they get the energized procs, and that's pretty much it about it. So JD Gaming, they do want to pick up the tempo just a little bit. I'm expecting Yagao and Floss to really hunt for kills, especially in the bottom side. Yep. Even with the kills that Karsa picked up, Uzi is still behind.
Floss trying to make sure something happens in that mid lane, speaking of the devil, because Yagao was roaming down, but decides against it. You said there, Uzi is still behind. Yes, he is. 10 CS, in fact. done a very good job in this matchup so far. Storm Race is now picked up for the AD carry, one of the first items on Summon's Rift, alongside the official mask, and Xiaohu's now Luden's Echo. Small lead for the mid lane too, but the top lane's starting to become a very real issue. Zoom versus Tai. At this point I'm saying Zoom all the way through this series. It's kind of iconic that we're left to look at someone like Uzi and how he can respond in this final game, and then we look at someone like Zoom and what his answer is. Zoom versus Uzi, this is the whole series so far.
Kayle should be the bane of the LPL. So many teams just like to play around their bot side regardless of the situation, and Kayle really just puts a nail in the coffin for that. You leave her alone, see you late game, and that's a bad strategy for you. She can absolutely wipe people once she gets level 16.
Yep.
Those true damage waves going through people. That can even crit. And what we've seen from the top side is most of the Kayles these days in top lane, they do go for the Triforce. You need a little bit of survivability there.
We have a Fiendish Codex there though. Ooh. So there's a chance that we go for Nash's into Lichbane.
That is also a build. Does a lot of damage.
Yeah, it does. Of course, Nash's being the go-to in the mid lane, or
actually
obviously played in the Ruined King. So that's the second time I've been right today. Something's going wrong.
You're just good play-by-play.
I saw a heck. Oh.
I think it's a good build because he's not really contested in the top lane. Like there's not a lot of trades happening. Ornn's not going to go full in on you. So I guess it makes sense.
That's true. I mean, where the kill threat, as we've often said, comes with that ignite that comes out of the spell book. But I think we went through that rotation a while ago. So Tai sitting at level 10 as well. Zoom has just hit range now, so the exalted pressure is going to be huge. Somehow Xiaohu gets hit by that troll wobble. Yagao comes in, has a hose available. Karsa tries to pop him, instead almost gets popped himself.
A lot of damage on Yagao right now, and that forces out a 3-man camp away from RNG. So that buys enough time for JD Gaming to reset the map, and they should be able to defend quite comfortably.
Yeah, that's right. Gal moves into the bottom lane. Xiaohu again takes the trouble bubble. Here we go, Yagao. Let's go. Have a jump. Oh, half health. Rightio.
Yeah, the scary thing about Yagao is he never really loses lane on Zoe. You can bring in the counter picks, and it doesn't matter.
Karsa sitting on a ward here, unaware to it. Rift Troll going to be started up. LvMao trying to get the bomb, he gets it. Ulti off, denies the Rift Troll. That's a big one. Weaver's Wall. Karsa's pissed off. And I'll tell you what, with the seismic shove, trying to fight him, he gets nothing. RNG just need this turret now.
Yeah, that was an emotional Weaver's Wall right there, but LvMao already pushed the wave out. There was no minions to tank for RNG, and they had to move back. This is quite massive. Now, RNG held on to that Herald for a long time, thinking they could get a tempo lead and then transition that towards the Infernal Drake. They didn't use it when turret plating was still up for the guaranteed 320 gold. They wanted to have a tempo play out of it, and that's just all gone. LvMao was willing to flash to stop that Herald.
And that was, so well worth it. JDG bottom side is theirs because of everyone they saw on the top side of the map, but playing it precariously, Floor's going to drag the dragon out. This is an Infernal. So for JDG still, this game number 5 doesn't have a resolution, doesn't have a conclusion at this early point in the game. Instead, you've got a mountain for an Infernal with another mountain to follow suit.
That's a good tilter coming out from LvMao, and it just broke the sequence of plays that RNG wanted to roll into. Think about it, all of the map actually transitioned in the bot side, so they just wanted to get that tempo in the top, transition everything there, and hopefully find someone.
Xiaohu's annoyed at this point as well. Karsa going to start stealing away the jungle camp as Zoom pushes in towards this bottom side. The Kayle so far ahead of the counterpart. 1,400 gold at this early point in the game. Everyone's saying late game Kayle, GG. But we're going to get there first while RNG make a response on the top side using Karsa to push this turret down and stop some of that aggression that JDG are responding to.
Yeah, I was checking the solo queue stats for Kayle. Over 35 minutes, she jumps up to a 70% win rate. It's pretty disgusting what this champion can do. She's been completely untouched.
Oh, Uzi pops the final out. LvMao pops into the explosive cast. Uzi dodges away. 1, 2, 3 again. LvMao is going to die here, Tumble, but he goes golden. Uzi taking underneath turret. LvMao's managed to do it. Karsa will pick up the kill, but the 1-for-1 trade onto the support.
That's a win for LvMao.
Xiaohu's actually going to be chased up by Yagao as well, and half health, scattered away, flashing away. Here comes the bubble into the golden ray. Xiaohu is dead. No way you look at it as the unleashed power won't be able to clean up. Karsa in the top lane, getting jumped on by Zoom. He flashes into him. The final judgment is Uzi gets the condemn, but doesn't have an ultimate himself. The ultimate from Zoom being popped as the trade-off there, and JDG clean across 3 different lanes.
All the bodies dropping to the floor on RNG's side. It's just one mishap after another. Xiaohu trying to roam top lane, find it.
What a predict.
He still sits on it. What?
He walked over the trouble bubble. Oh no! Uzi! Yagao thought he had the range as well. I'm not sure he can do this. Zoom doesn't have his ulti, but neither does Uzi. Flashes away from the trouble bubble. He does get himself a turret kill onto Flawless. Yagao needs to get in, but Uzi still alive. The Spellweaver passive from Yagao secures the kill, but it seems like mistake after mistake getting caught here.
That was a lot of momentum back in RNG side. They should be able to run the map after this, but so many kill go.
That's a hungry cow on Yagao. Does he have another
mobility.
trouble bubble? He flashes in. Ming 1v2. I don't think so. That's good enough.
Showing who's boss right there, stemming the tide of craziness that's breaking out in this game. I think honestly, just RNG are just getting caught out of in transition so many times, and LvMao with the outplay. You could see Uzi preemptively dodging back to and not using the condemn early because he knew that the big explosive cat barrel was coming in. Dodges out on that. Watch this play from Xiaohu. Tries to walk up to Yagao. He hits the scatter of the weak, but takes the damage in the meantime as well, and that's pretty much just the death sentence for him. Stays along for a long time, stays alive for a long time, but Imp is there with killer instincts to finish it out.
Are we going through all these replays? Like,
there's no need.
There is absolutely no way. I didn't see that one. Nice. This game's turned from, as I call it with FPX, categorical chaos, to now senseless violence.
I like senseless violence. This sounds nice.
You know, if you look at senseless violence, you say, who does it favor more? Zoom.
Yes.
The whole of JDG. Give me that blue buff, says Yagao. He actually might just donate it over. It's being caught out again. Portal jump. Here comes the Ornn ult. Flawless. Which way you gonna go, punk? Well, maybe over the wall. He needs to get out, but he can't. Uzi comes in, and Zoom can't heal him to full. RNG, the categorical chaos. I can't even say that word. Happens again.
And that's the RNG special right there. They are the master of engages. They have so many key tools. The Alistar and the Ornn are the big ones I'm looking for. Go-to champions on RNG. And they're so well known for always making the plays happen. They're going to go straight for a Baron. I'm not sure about this one, though.
Coming in for a weird flank, but RNG start this up quickly. Zoom is a fast, speedy lightning bird. They're going to spot it out now.
Ming's trying to go in. Can he actually find Imp?
Ming needs to make a move because LvMao has popped him out. Explosive cast into the pit. RNG are committing for it. They locked him. Zoom in with the ultimate. The judgment comes down. They find it. Karsa gets the Baron. RNG play it on a whim, but Karsa comes in over the wall. LvMao's being called out. That's the RNG we know and love. It's chaos, but it looks bloody magnificent.
5v3, they do manage to secure the Baron. No one else falls down from that fight. A very close instance right there. If LvMao could use a little bit more of his abilities to zone out and break apart the members of RNG, I felt like that could have gone either way. Let's watch this play. Ming with the mobility, boots of mobility. Yeah. I find you, get stunned, and have to come back. They finish him off with the Ornns, all done to tie.
The Ram just runs over him for the kill.
This is just fun to watch from RNG. They know how to get back in games.
This is a good end to the series, I'll say. This is absolutely crazy. I will say in that play as well, Uzi finally gets another kill. This is very important because Karsa was taking a lot of the early game kills, and while he's still so far ahead, the main part is that Uzi hasn't been able to get any of those resources. Now finally with a bounty on his head, now finally in a good position, Uzi will be able to catch up to him. In fact, a level above him, so it's been very quiet for the AD carry of JDG, but you gotta remember, still, it's escalating to this point for both teams. Escalating to this AD carry finale, and maybe, you know, top lane finale for JDG.
I would say it would be the raid boss from the top lane. RNG did get a playoff, but they didn't have to face Zoom in that first 4v2 catch right there. They haven't really gotten a taste of what Zoom is going to feel like when he hits that level 16 and is finally arisen.
Ascended.
Yeah.
Exalted, I know it is, but Ascended sounds so much better. It's a double mountain, however, for RNG. So while you're getting excited for the Kayle prospect, get excited for the amount of damage they do to these turrets, with Baron buff that they cheekily snuck away.
JD Gaming looking for the potential engage. All eyes are on LvMao at this point. Can he find a perfect explosive cast to blow everyone away?
You're walking like old Gragas. It's good to see. As the tide will go unstoppable at the right time. LvMao almost bursted down with a handy seismic shove. That's going to give them the pressure in the 5v4 in the mid lane matchup. Even Uzi's going to the bottom lane. They know that with this Baron buff, they can at least break that out up.
Don't really want to risk it against Zoom. The members do back off. And Uzi's still waiting on his second item. This is super slow from Uzi. I'm almost never seen him at 23 minutes and not have that finished yet.
Yeah.
At least he's going to finish, pick it up now.
In this series, this has been Uzi's slowest game at that note as well. Never has he fallen behind in CS in this lane. Never has Imp kind of won out the laning phase. But here we are. Zoom going to respond to the next wave, crashing in after Uzi cleans it up. Karsa in a good position for the flank as well, but he's been spotted out. Yagao jumps on in, trouble bubbles there. Xiaohu going to block him in. Ults in, and the Super Soaker comes out, and Imp once again flushes into the fray. Unleashed power, but the final judgment comes in again. Zoom free firing as the Kayle has not lit level 16, but it sure feels like it. From front to back, they continue. Ming caught out. Uzi dies in the end. Xiaohu the remnant. And this is just like the series has been going. RNG, good night, goodbye, good luck, really. How are you? Because as Zoom picks up this kill, he'll ascend even further.
That's level 15. Kayle for you, not even fully up to the level 16 task yet. Just so much burst damage coming out there. We were talking about JD Gaming, think about how they would compensate for the lack of a front line, and that's your answer in that fight. Imp going in, full well that he had the divine judgment at his back, was willing to risk it all. They take Karsa off during the Sleepy Trouble bubble, and watch this. Imp survive through the unleashed power, and as Uzi walks in, he gets tagged by Yagao. This is why you never give the man Zoe, and they just clean house after that.
Front to back, from simple to bothered for RNG. Xiaohu doesn't even survive in the end. We get it. He dies. It's okay. JDG, absolute ace. Tries to outplay as much as he can.
This is the most mystical playoff run that we've ever seen in the LPL. Never has there been a playoff where people were more uncertain about who would rise to the top.
That's right.
And most of the people were actually still thinking about the top 4. Most of our analysts had IG versus RNG as the finals, the repeat from 2018 Summers. But JD Gaming are here to prove us wrong.
They really are. Clement, as you were saying just then, hang on, no, we're just going to start a fight again. Uzi's been caught out, and Zoom hits level 16 off of it. As Imp, killer instinct into the tie. He heals to survive, but Imp is just firing away. Zoom rushes forward. How's true damage for you? The Kayle, onslaught after onslaught. JDG in the driver's seat for Game 5.
There's still a lot of seconds before Uzi can come back. 20 seconds. This should be an inhibitor and straight into the Baron buff for JD Gaming. Not much RNG can do right now. 4v5 defend.
Inhibitor going to drop down. How do you bring yourself back in this game? How do you stop yourself from being eliminated in the quarterfinals? JDG one step away from not only upsetting WE 2 days ago, but from upsetting RNG in Game 5 and heading to the semifinals.
Oh my god. You think you quelled one part of the map. RNG survived with the bottom side, but then you look at the top lane and it's completely on fire. And Captain LvMao is there as well. He's looking for the engage. Pops up with the speed boost and just ends Uzi's life. Holds on to the flash for Uzi, knows he's dead, and Imp is willing to dive towers to make sure the tide goes down as well. Just playing so well, going forward, knowing he has the backup of Zoom.
You're left to wonder for RNG how it ends. Baron started up a miracle one at the start of this game. Now a desperation plays call the Forge God. It begins again suddenly. Karsa needs to get the fight down. He misses it, but Uzi secures it. But RNG, they need the fight because Zoom at the front line burns down the tie. The final judgment onto him, who ults into the back line. JDG cleaning house. The last fight could be here. As Ming, it's tanky, but not enough. Zoom fires again. Imp going at it, and JDG pick up 2. Karsa needs to run, but he can't. Imp snipes him down. 3 for none. And JDG lose Baron, but they could just take the game.
It's 5v3 right here. You need a hero defend to keep RNG's playoff dreams alive. Can Xiaohu's tie to it?
I don't think they can do this. I think JDG have got it. They're streamlining into the base. 5 versus 2. Has this just happened? RNG came in with the hope of making it to final, and somehow one dreamy boy in caps from G2 thinks this is going to be the JDG miracle run. It looks like it, but not yet. They back away, they play it safe, and it was off the back of this Baron, which may keep the game going for RNG.
This is so desperate from RNG side. They even missed the spike, but Uzi is there to pick it off. However, he is caught inside the pit. Look at what JD Gaming are doing. 3 members straight there, making sure that no damage is coming out from the Mad Dog, and then they clean up the front line as well. It was well worth a risk for RNG. However, I don't think it panned out as well as they wanted it to. Only 2 Baron buffs being secured here. How long can they actually extend the game?
You're trying to hold on, RNG. We get it. But JDG, even Captain Colonel says the same. 80% right now. The Baron buff elongates this game, but you...
This is the
minutes.
spring of upsets in the
really
LPL.
EDG
Every single
out.
set. Yeah.
RNG could be out. WE found their match after what a promising end of the season they had.
That's the true terror of the LPL in general. There's so much talent being generated in this region that every few years you see a surge of rookies taking their rightful spots. Sino Dragons, the best team in LDL, full rookie squad, and JD Gaming is basically a sophomore team as well. Their star players in Zoom and Yagao only joined in 2018.
Oh no, Yagao's coming in. Not going to find himself into the portal jump. There's still pick potential here from RNG, so don't get dissuaded. There's still a chance, but if you're a JDG fan, rejoice because the next fight could end the game.
There's only 4K down for RNG. Uzi is finally online, but like you were saying, like you have to give it to JD Gaming with a better win rate.
If you land a trouble bubble like that, Yagao not going to fully commit. He knows that Xiaohu's nearby, and a Scout of the Week could end JDG's chances of finding that miracle fight. Clearing out the wave will not be hard with the Baron buff, but JDG are fully in control and are waiting for that pick themselves.
JD Gaming just moving across the wave. Now they do need to figure out their top and their bottom lane minion wave, so not doing the best macro job right here. They're going to put a little bit more pressure. They're going to have to back out and reset.
Even Karsa, look at the player cams. Karsa is exasperating very, very heavy-handedly. It's super rough. Uzi's even sweating more. Like at this point, 3-item Vayne needs to come up with a triumphant play himself. Got an upgrade on the Zhonya's Yagao for the mid lane, but not even 3 items there for Xiaohu.
He's just so far away from actually being super relevant.
Look at Kayle, man. Zoom is 606. 4 items on the Kayle. Rabadon's death cap for Zoom, who's level 17. It's going to be so hard for RNG to win this fight.
He puts a scaling from Ornn to Shane. The Living Forge, free item on everyone. Doesn't really matter in the face of Zoom at this point. And he's going to get his 3 seconds to deal damage no matter what.
The golden run for RNG. We asked if it would start again here in 2019. On the verge of it just being shut before it even begins. Their first playoff match against JDG, the 8th seed, only just making it into playoffs. JDG getting edging closer towards that Nexus. 6K gold leader continues on, looking for the pick in this brush. Uzi needs to play this super safe. He's not going to overextend, of course. He pushes out the wave, heads back to base.
They're all setting up for the final push at this point. JD Gaming, they need to have a strong position on the map. They need to have these waves pushing in simultaneously. Now, I think they do have a slow push on the top side. Maybe not, but these small details are going to be so crucial in the coming moments. Can they actually find the engages they want?
Zatai needs to be careful. Baited in, explosive Karsa. Tie's being caught out. Has to charge away. Sonic Wave resonating strike. This is not good. Flaw's kicks back Uzi. Is that the kick of the game? Well, Yagao tries to pick him up, but Flaw's being caught out. Week's there, but Zoom is still alive. The Kayle's level 18 as Uzi almost gets picked up himself. Big hit there from RNG, but they almost pay for it with their life.
Insane reactions from everyone right there. Uzi with the instant condemn to make sure that Zatai was able to walk out of there, and then Flawless. I don't think he got the kickback he wanted. Dies to Scatter the Weak, coming out from Xiaohu, just being hit in the knockup, CC chained up, and RNG escape with the skin of their teeth.
I feel like Karsa put up the Weaver's wall so that the kick wouldn't go any further than that, so I'm sure we'll get a replay anyway, but a kicked back Uzi, almost the pick that you saw there from JDG, and Zoom didn't take any damage because no one was willing to step near him. The Kayle is huge, and it's still not enough here for RNG.
and I really want JD Gaming, they have full map control to focus on their lane manipulation. This slow push in the top lane, it means that RNG does not have to defend multiple positions whatsoever. And JD Gaming, I honestly feel like they could have a much more stronger stranglehold right there. RNG, they're going to go straight for the Baron.
I mean, do they contest this for JDG or do they push down the mid lane? There's a minion wave heading on in. It looks like contested the answer. Trouble Bubble lands onto Ming. He's half health. Baron disengaged here as Flawless jumps back on. They reset it. Call the Fort God from Zatai. It hit someone. It's onto Zoom, but here comes the Trouble Bubble again. It's onto Uzi as to cleanse it. Zatai back into the pit. They do not find it. It's RNG who lose the Baron, and now they have to find the fight. But Zoom is hitting again in the front. Yagao gets the kick back onto Karsa. LvMao finishes him off. Uzi may get Flawless, but RNG have lost so many members. Scatter the weak on Yagao doesn't land. Uzi onto LvMao. It's fitting that Uzi would be in control. Trouble Bubble doesn't land onto Xiaohu as well. JDG are following up.
Here comes
Zoom. Comes in for the flank. Kayle is a big mother-loving wing machine. Double kill for Zoom. And before I almost got fired, JDG found their way into this series, into the game. Game number 5. They knock out RNG, and we continue to be wrong about this now semi-finalist team.
You thought that RNG had to come back. It would look like a 2v3 in that situation, but casually Zoom walks in, closes off the escape route from RNG and puts them in the ground, casually swinging his blade and taking away both Uzi and Karsa's life right there. They secure their path towards semifinals, an almost unthinkable journey from the 8th seed in the LPL, over 5th seed WE, over 4th seed RNG, and they're looking ahead to FBX.
RNG do not stand in their way. Can you believe JDG are making the miracle run? That's right, it's FBX coming up next. What a journey it's been, but what a sad end for RNG to their journey here in the quarterfinals. A best of 5 that goes the distance, and they just couldn't have anything to say.
Yeah, RNG did look like they were coming up short in terms of reinventing their game style, still focusing super heavily on the bot lane, and even though they quelled the rebellion being started by Imp there, the double kill from Imp to start the game off, they turned to top lane and they realized they still have a problem they did not attend to. Zoom has to be the best player in this series.
Yeah.
The foundation that he built for this Jingdong roster to take down RNG is absolutely tremendous. You have to play a 3-lane game, RNG. If you look at the top teams in the LPL, TOP, IG, FBX, what do they all have in common? They play through all 3 of their lanes. When it comes to playoffs, when people are throwing different strategies at you, you cannot stick to this corner that you carved out for yourself. It will be your deathbed.
How iconic it is that Zoom pulls out the win in the end. Yagao had his Zoe game in game number 5, and Imp finally won the lane here for JDG when all other 4 games was Uzi dominated.
This is the 2nd time that Imp has actually found Uzi in the playoffs, and so far he's been 100%.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing if you think about in the off-season games that Imp has been a kryptonite to someone like Uzi.
Yeah, it really has been. So this is the semi-final journey now for JDG. 8th seed moves forward into FPX, and it's the fact that we're here now after EDG eliminated, RNG eliminated, WE gone. Like, next FPX, good luck. I don't know what's going to happen.
Sino Dragons versus JD Gaming finals,
That's
baby.
the final. Who's going to JDG going to MSI, apparently.
Oh my god. I would be so surprised if Caps somehow got it right. I don't know what dream he had right there, but it probably was the gods talking to him. Now, to be fair, G2 were the ones to take RNG down when it came to Worlds, so they knew the winning recipe and they saw the potential in JD Gaming to play a 3-lane game.
They knew.
They definitely knew.
He was ahead of his time.
We were thinking that RNG would come up with something new, like the golden ear for RNG was basically established on the flex pick potential from their top and mid. Even when they were on blue side, they were able to take away Alistar, they were able to flex their solo lanes to get good matchups there, and then play a 1-3-1 game. And if that didn't work, they still had a very strong 5-man team fight. Right now, this RNG is a shell of what their best heydays were. They're pretty much only relying on complete devotion to the bot side, and sometimes the god in the bot side doesn't heed to you. He doesn't call to your beckoning, and it's a bit frustrating to see RNG fall down in this fashion, because it really doesn't show much advancement from where they left in Worlds.
I mean, you bring the tie back. There was a decision to bring this top laner back, and now we don't get to see the opportunity of LvMao, who was technically not inactive from week number 9. So a lot of question marks for RNG. We'll just bring this discussion back to JDG, because there is an argument to be made that this team's looking better than they ever have.
Yeah.
Imp has formed up some of his best gameplay that we've seen all split long. I'll say that Game 4 was probably his worst out of the series, but that Game 5, so much cleaner here. And it came off the back of bullying Uzi.
Yeah, and I think this is a winning strategy, to be honest. They had a good level 1 to make sure where Karsa's pathing was, so they actually turned the vertical jungle up on its head and went with the let RNG get a taste of their own medicine. LvMao has played these sections of the fight so well. That was a double knockup for Zatai if he actually found the Searing Charge on the wall. He's able to preserve his life and then fight another day.
Do we have the prediction graphic still there, just by the way? Do we still have that up? Is that available to call on? Because, man, I'll tell you one thing. Like, the predictions of Karsa, we are going downhill and we are going fast. Do not vote with your head. Vote with your heart. And that goes for everyone out there as well. Like, if you think that FPX versus JDG is going to end with FPX winning, then you're wrong, because that's voting with your head. And JDG right now, it's about your heart.
Oh boy, this is such an enticing matchup when we go up against Yagao and Doinby. Now, this is different from Xiaohu versus Yagao. Now, Xiaohu versus Yagao, we have a history, we have the VODs to look over. Xiaohu's never done quite well against Yagao. Different for Doinby. Yep. Doinby actually does very well against Yagao for some reason, and that's some of the champion pools are wildly different, but both are roam-centric mid laners.
Yep.
And I think this time around, Doinby and Tien have much better synergy than displayed by Yagao and Flawless on the other side.
That's right.
So it's going to be really tough, and I think this is the first matchup where we're going to see JD Gaming finally be contested in all 3 lanes. WE for them, they fell into the same trap, very similar trappings of what RNG did, focusing super heavily on their late game compositions rather than trying to challenge the early game tempo that was being set by JD Gaming. Now JD do find a real enemy, a true Trident team that consistently wins in all 3 lanes that can stand up with them in the drafting phase.
We'll get to FBX, of course, in the semi-finals, but for Yagao, got his Zoe in that very last game, and that's what made him Trident test, and that's what just pushed him across the line. Zoe looked fantastic, it always does. Roll the tape! Happened in many different ways.
Yeah, this is one of the key finds right there. He knew Karsa was waiting in those blind spots. Karsa peeked his head out a few too many times from just that spot, was spotted out, and this Sleepy Trouble Bubble, the fadeaway jump shot as he tags Uzi casually and they finish him off, was really the comeback for JD Gaming. Before that, RNG were still somewhat in the game, taking away the Baron buff. It was a desperation Baron at that, to be sure, but they did have still a lot of map control, and with that fight, JD Gaming cemented themselves clearly in the lead.
Somehow, you know, to get this far, like it's fair to say that for JDG, you know, running the gauntlet, is it Clid, is it Loken? No. This time we've got Imp, we've got ourselves, you know, a cheeky little man in Flawless who played all 5 games this series.
And this is another desperation attempt from RNG. They need to close the game out as soon as possible. Not really happening. You think that RNG actually still have a chance, but you're not looking at the mini-map. That's the problem right here. Because Zoom is going straight for the finish right here. All the rest of the members trying to just block out and stop this engage from happening.
Oh no, that's when you know. Oh, it all just went wrong. It was a good teleport flank there from Zoom.
And that's when he realized that the game was over.
You know, whatever I call him, just ignore that. But, like, that was a big Kayle by the end. You get to that level 16 mark, and you're saying, well, now we're in trouble. We need to kill that Kayle. She then ults, and you're saying, okay, we need to hold on killing the Kayle, and by then everyone's already dead.
There's a lot of discussions on the design of Kayle. You know, the dive has been quite vocal that they don't really like the champion that just wins out on the late game, but it is what it is, and I think teams in the LPL absolutely have to adapt to it. 2019, I think this is a year where LPL, we see a lot of transformations. A lot of teams are now much more focused on trying to win all 3 lanes rather than just piling everything into the bot side. We have so many good top lane rookies this split, from 369, from Zarun, from Ale on OMG. All of these are changing up the rosters, are changing up the drafts. Counter picks are being are being valued a lot higher in this overall meta, and playing all 3 lanes is an absolute must if you want to go forward with your game. RNG, they stuck to their old ways, and they're going to get left behind.
Because they did not play through as the tie, and Zoom just smacked them down. MVP for that game number 5, and really for the whole series has to be Zoom. LvMao was the previous MVP for the whole series, designated by Clement and I.
Yes.
But this time, I don't know if you want to agree on this, Clement, but I think Zoom just won wholeheartedly in each and every game.
He was 8,000 gold ahead.
That's a lot.
By himself.
I mean, he had Kleptomancy Kayle, it went into an Ornn. It could have gone, you know, a lot better, I'd say.
This is a good trump card that Coach Holm was holding on to. I don't think he wanted to show that, but Game 5, everything down on the wires, well,
here comes Kayle.
Yeah, we have to use it. We have to use it right now. So that's going to be the first Kayle we actually see from, I believe it's the first Kayle we see from Zoom, right?
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty sure it is.
I believe so.
Yeah, so
16 champions now.
It's a really smart one, because the way RNG is playing, they didn't do anything to topside.
Yeah, that's right. Ignore the topside. Kayle gets ahead. What happens late game? Well, there you saw it. Pretty straightforward. You now go, okay, all right, JDG, what's your next road? We know it's FPX, but we want to ask how they maybe go in those individual lanes. When mid lane, yes, we talked about that, but the top side of the map against Gimp, who has had a bit of that jungle pressure as well, is going to be a very different story.
So the key point of the matchup has to come down to just the mid and jungle. That's always how it is when FPX play against each other. And I think it's a really interesting matchup because there's a lot of meta champions that Doinby doesn't play. For instance, he's never been a Zoe player at all. I think he maybe has at most 1 game on it. Just even though Zoe has been such a big meta pick, he just doesn't touch it. He's going for the bruisers. He actually has a very good counter in the Kassadin against the Zoe that we've seen before. So the matchup is very hard to predict in terms of the champion role, but what we should expect to see, and personally I think what is going to happen, is that FPX should still have the roam and the leave potential to go away from the mid lane. They should have priority there, and it's really about, I think for me, can Imp survive that harassment coming out from Doinby? They love to roam towards the bot side, and Tien has been absolute dominant on getting Doinby out of that lane. He's the first blood king in the LPL. 27 first blood secured over the entire split. So I still give priority over towards FPX. It's about how the side lanes really hold up to that pressure.
Absolutely, that's going to be FPX coming up with JDG. However, let's look at that bracket again because I don't even know. Who's going to win playoffs at this point? Do you know? Submit your answers because got as much of a clue as we do. JDG have made the miracle run. They're up to FPX. They're on to the semi-finals. And tomorrow, we look at if SDG can continue their miracle run.
Imagine if people tune into the finals and ask, what region am I watching right now? Sino Dragons versus JD Gaming? Who are these people again?
I'm not too sure. IG and FPX already secured their berth to the semi-finals, but that's not going to matter with the tear that's coming through from these 2 teams. Of course, SDG, TOP, same time tomorrow. That's coming up, and that's our quarterfinals. By God.
Yeah, it's a new day and a new dynasty in the LPL. All of the traditional strong houses, only Invictus Gaming remains. FPX and TOP, they are new franchising teams that just joined in 2018.
Yep.
JD Gaming and Sino Dragons, as you're seeing on your map, they're complete rookies. So, you know, the old guard is dying out. This is the new day for the LPL, and we're going to kick that off tomorrow between Knight and Taliyah, 2 rookie mid laners.
That's right, and Taliyah's had a struggling laning phase, that's the one. A learning phase is very fair as well. Struggling laning phase, whereas Knight has just been dominating.
Yep, but we have to remember, Sino Dragons did 2-0 TOP when they faced them. Xiaohu and Knight are very close dueling partners, and Knight just said, oh boy, this guy just knows my paths too well. Kicked his face in on the Nidalee pick. So that's a matchup that could go either way. The lane dominant, the trident strategy from TOP, and the rock solid front to back team fighting from Sino Dragons is coming up tomorrow.
A best of 5 format is very different, remember. So you have a best of 5 format and you say, okay, it's a very different environment as we just saw with RNG and JDG. In fact, it actually favored JDG by the end.
It did. You have a better coach, better adaptability. I think Coach Holm, if he takes his team from AC to first place, damn, he's gonna have, like, there has to be like a bust for him somewhere in this arena. Probably the best coaching run that we've ever seen. Every positioning in the matchup was so delicate. He found out what was the crucial path, and he just stuck it, stuck a knife
I'm running out of words.
It's okay, Clever.
You know,
you
knife in the
you
heart
and
of
me
RNG.
both, man. You and me both.
It's been a long day.
I've said some questionable things. You just said a very questionable thing. That's a great way to end it, apparently. Thank you so much to our production team. That's all for today. Clement Chu, Jake Asterix, Sonny Peko. Forget the names. Because tomorrow is going to be a very different duo in Niberia and Raz. For Sino Dragon and TOP.
See you tomorrow.